All right, our next guest.
This is good.
This is good because you're going to learn something. All right, our next guest is the author of Never Check Email in the Morning and Other Unexpected Strategies for Making Your Work Life Work.
I check my email in the morning.
Me too. That's like the first thing I do.
I don't respond to emails
I
in the
wake
morning.
up and I'm like, who emailed me? Who emailed me? Who emailed me? And then I'm like, I'm
Do
going to...
you respond to them?
Some of them. It depends on how urgent things
It will
are.
end up being like, you won't be able to know what I wrote.
That's why you don't write me in the morning.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah,
Okay.
but I do see your email.
Okay.
So anyway.
Let's welcome Julie Morgenstern. Welcome to the show.
It's great to be here.
So, email in the morning? Why can't we check it? Please tell us.
I shall tell you. So, and I heard you sort of might have a little bit of the right idea. Email is a very reactive device, right? It's just bringing you requests and to-dos and reminders and tasks. And I think when we start our day on a reactive note, it's very hard to recover and ever put your head down on the things you wanted to do. So how often have you had all these great plans for the day, for your work day, and there's things you want to do, and then you check your email, and then before you know it, it's the end of the day.
Yeah, once or
Sounds
twice.
familiar.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that for most people, our clearest mind for our biggest tasks, whatever they are, the strategic planning or the writing or creative work, if you start your day with the big stuff and then you roll your shades up for business, you feel an incredible sense of accomplishment and accessibility. And that's really what you're looking for, is a blend of getting your things done and being accessible.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, I think we all know that in theory, and everybody I know struggles with time management and productivity.
Yeah.
And it's hit or miss, right,
Yeah.
Julia?
What can you do to prioritize? Because we know, this is more important than the other one. That is more important than the other one. This is not important now, but it's so urgent, I have to do it. And you feel pressured. What do you do?
I think there's a couple things. I mean, time management's a big topic, but if I were to say, if you feel very overwhelmed and you're not spending your time on the most important things, you get caught up in a lot of urgencies that are not necessarily the most important. There's a couple things you can do to get a grip quickly. The first thing I would recommend is something I call planning tomorrow +2. And that is ending every workday with about 15 minutes to look ahead at tomorrow plus 2 days beyond that.
I kind of do that.
You do?
Yeah,
How does
I
that
create
work?
little lists and stuff, especially when I'm really busy and I'm having trouble figuring out what I'm going to do next.
Yeah.
Before I leave myself a note for the following day.
Yeah, and it focuses you
Yeah.
on what your priorities are. And then no matter what happens the next day, you're coming in better prepared. But this is what I need to get done no matter what the day throws at me. And the reason why I think it's helpful to do tomorrow +2 is you just look at the next couple of days, because if tomorrow doesn't go exactly as planned, it helps to know how much wiggle room you have.
Of course. We have to be honest with ourselves. Yeah.
And there's one other question that I often tell clients, and they really, most people don't think of this. When you're looking at the next day, +2, what are my meetings? What are my open spaces? What are the to-dos I'm going to do in the open spaces? And then you ask, what could derail me tomorrow?
Oh.
And you ask it in advance, because I find about 80% of the surprises in our day were completely predictable if we had just
Of
asked.
course. I knew about this cold coming on, Julie, 3 days ago.
Yeah, you know about the coworker who always asks you for a favor as you're walking out the door.
We all know them.
You know about your own perfectionism that makes you avoid the hard stuff. So if you just ask what could derail me before the day starts, then you can have a preemptive plan. What am I going to do if my colleague comes to me at the last minute, or I'm feeling my perfectionism taking me down a rabbit hole? You kind of ask in advance, and like defensive driving.
In that case, how do we make sure we don't fall off the other side of the cliff, which is worry about everything that could go wrong? How do we not over-worry?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I think that worrying, and you don't want to over-plan either. I think that's the other piece of it. Is I am not advocating you have a plan and you're rigid and you're not going to take any of the things that life throw at you. There's a balance. It's kind of being organized enough, where you have your plan. Maybe 50% of your day you try to be in control of, and 50% you take what comes as it comes. So it's not all or
There's a
nothing.
lot of that at work. And that leads us to our next question. How can employers promote this type of good behavior? Because a lot of
Yeah.
times my boss is the distraction.
100%. We do time management workshops all over the world, and we have learned over the years, people leave these workshops with these great ideas, and they really want to apply them, but they're working in a culture that's working against good time management. Bosses that are coming at the last minute, not planning 24/7. There's a concept that I've come to call it time leadership. And I really believe that every senior executive, every manager is a time leader, whether they know it or not. And the way they operate has a ripple effect through their entire department and the entire organization. So recognize the way you work is going to impact the way the entire operation
That explains a lot, Julie.
And always, and it's top down and bottom up is the only way to change the culture of time in a company. You can't just do it bottom up, and you can't just do it top down. You have to, and leaders can stop and think about, there's really I call them 5 levers of good time leadership. And you figure out your values and what your expectations are around email. What are email turnaround times? Are people allowed to get back in an hour, in 2 hours, same day, or is it really like instant? Is email an instant response, or you can have 2 hours to respond? So email, what's our culture of meetings? What's our culture of interruptions? Thinking time. Do we give people the space and the expectation? We want them to spend time thinking every day. And then after hours and weekend expectations, which are too often implicit, like we kind of want you tethered.
They're definitely not explicit. Yeah.
If you make them explicit, even if you do need your employees to be connected in the evening and weekends, the more explicit you are, the easier it is for people to organize themselves around it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. And then I think we're all gonna remember plan tomorrow +2.
Yeah, plan tomorrow, but
yeah,
two. Where can we get the book?
The book is, you can go to my website, juliemorgenstern.com, and see that book. It's called Never Check Email in the Morning, and other books that I have on time management and productivity and balance. And and from there you can buy it at any good bookstore online or independent.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the
Yeah,
time
great to have you.
management
Yeah.
to be here today.
Making good use of it.
Yeah.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.